What's going on?
What is good?
Welcome to another episode of Flick Filter. I'm Big Diesel.
And I'm the professor. Kind of.
Gang, gang.
Gang.
Okay. So, this is the last episode of the year.
Is it?
It is.
Wonk wonk.
Wonk, wonk, wonk. So yeah, we just wanted to do this last one. We did record an out of the theater review.
And it's lost. Well, it's not lost, but it's...
You didn't send it to me, but
I tried to send it, but we said
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But maybe we'll just drop it maybe one day, maybe
From the vault.
We'll see. But anywho, today we are doing a video of Lord of the Rings.
The War of the Rohirrim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one.
that one.
Which is basically an animated Lord of the Rings movie.
Yes, in the Peter Jackson universe.
And why did they make this?
So, that's a great question. They made it, which I didn't know until after seeing it. They made it in order to, so it was under Warner Brothers, essentially. And they made it in order to retain the rights for them to still be able to make movies. Which I didn't know that. That was the reason why it was made to begin with. Which that does kind of explain some things, why it was well, I think, I don't know all of the backstory, but yeah, they would lose the rights. From my understanding, they were going to lose the rights after a certain amount of time if they did not make another movie. So they essentially made this, which it seemed kind of like a cash grab, but also like a little bit, which they did bring back I don't know. It's in the world of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, and even the way it was marketed, it almost felt like, oh, we're bringing you back to, this world that you love, and they even showed footage from the Two Towers, I believe, in the trailers, and then it like cuts to animation, and it's funny because I was with my dad, and we were in the trailer to see Gladiator 2, and I saw him. He got visibly upset when the trailer for Lord of the Rings came on for this movie, and he was like, "Man, they ruined it." Like, he's like, "Why did it have to be animated? Like, why did it, see they just ruined it?" And I thought it was just really funny seeing his reaction to it, because he's the one who got me into Lord of the Rings all those years ago, and then now seeing him being upset about the animation. Just the fact that it was animated, he was like, "Man, I'm like." Yeah,
adults do not like animated stuff.
Like, we're adults.
No, I mean like older than us.
Oh.
Like, anytime I talk to my parents about anime, they're like, "Why are you watching these cartoons?"
Yeah, because I think, before. I mean, this is a whole other conversation. Before a certain, I think before cartoons started becoming more mature, not mature like in a vulgar sense, how you have like,
well, Family Guy.
Yeah, not those type, but just like cartoons that actually appeal to adults because they deal with adult topics and themes, and like shows that could honestly be live action. There are a lot of shows that could be live action, but they're just animated, and that's how. I mean, going back and tying this back into this film. To me, it honestly could have been a live action film. Like, if you were, if you were in the theater and you just like had your eyes closed, and you just heard what's going on, you may not have even known it was animated.
Sure.
But anywho, so yeah, they essentially made it in order to keep the rights to still be making Lord of the Rings movies.
So, what is this about?
What is this about? So, to set the scene, this was set...
No spoilers.
No spoilers. That's gonna be tough. But okay, I'll see. I'll do the best I can, at least for right now. It's set a little bit less than 200 years before the events of Lord of the Rings, and it's essentially Eowyn. She's telling the story of Helm's Deep. So basically, how Helm's Deep essentially got his name, which is a very, very short blurb in the Lord of the Rings books, and whoever decided to make this movie was like, "Hey, we're gonna base it off of this little blurb," and
it's deep.
See, he's gonna be doing this a lot. Yeah. So this movie is essentially how Helm's Deep got his name, and there was a king. His name was Helm, and Helm had some offspring, and he had also these subjects and another basically somebody else who wanted to challenge him, and it was a conflict, and things ensued, and
there's a revenge.
It is a very much a revenge plot. It's also but honestly the real protagonist is his daughter, Freya. She's kind of like your point of view character,
right?
Freya. Is it Freya?
No, Hera, not
it is
Hera.
Hera. It is
Hera.
Hera. It is Hera.
Okay. Freya, you're thinking of The Witcher. Freya Allen.
Oh. No, I don't think I was thinking about somebody else. Hera is her name. Forgive me.
This man knows all about. Got a Lord of the Rings shirt on and got it wrong.
Look, she's. I don't even know if she's in the books for real. Not that I'd be reading the books a lot, but anywho, Hera is essentially your main character. She's the daughter of King Helm, who was voiced by the great Brian Cox. If you hear his voice, you see his face, you'll know who he is. But yeah, so there's a conflict between.
That was him, wasn't it?
Huh?
That was him.
Yeah. It was him. Yeah, so there's a conflict. Things happen. Now there's like this whole rift, and now Wolf is his name. He's essentially your antagonist, and he's coming for blood. And things happen. There's a whole there's battles. There's people get got, and it's hard to talk about this without spoiling for real. But yeah, things were happening. I don't know. What do you want to say about the movie in terms of the plot, and just kind of can give people stuff without giving them
without spoiling. Yeah, it's just basically your average kind of revenge tale, to where that he definitely wanted to get revenge on Helm. So it's basically Wolf and Helm kind of having this conflict. And the main character is just kind of in the middle, just trying to figure out, how she can kind of save the day, I guess. There's not really much more to it than that.
Yeah, the story is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. And even on the revenge aspect of it, like, it's not, well, I was going to say, I wouldn't call it a revenge story only because it's not the main protagonist trying to do the revenge. It's the antagonist wants revenge against Helm. And he's honestly kind of justified, in my opinion, to an extent, because Helm is very...
Trash.
Yeah, I was going to say impulsive. Didn't listen to his daughter, and a lot of bad things happen simply because he does not listen. And so it's like when, things happen, when things go the way they go, it's like you kind of brought this upon yourself. And then, but it goes back to just how, like, people, especially rulers, but people in general, we can be so fixated on doing things like, doing things our way, or doing things in the way we feel like is the best, even though it may it may not be.
Especially as like parents.
Parents
Parents always think that their way is correct,
Mm-hmm.
but then and don't want to listen to like when their children or people under them want to give them advice. They tend to not want to take it, but you know, yeah, a lot of this stuff was his fault.
Yeah, much. Definitely was.
But anyways, I think all in all, I think the animation was cool. It was just it's hard to not look at this as a cash grab, just because it's an origin story about Helms Deep.
It's a very small aspect, too, like a very small story, like a relatively with the family, conflict with this, with the other family or with the other group, and it's like you feel like it doesn't have that much of an effect on the major world. Lord of the Rings,
I feel like they could have done a better story if they wanted to.
Yeah.
That kind of, was better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know if this is like, if there's anything going to happen after this, or if this is just a one-off kind of thing,
Yeah.
But I would say go see it if you're a Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
Go see it. I would rate it a 3. Wasn't too bad. Like, but, it wasn't too bad, but.
Yeah.
3 or 3.5. But go see this. I feel like if people go see this film, then maybe they'll do more Lord of the Rings films.
Yeah.
We vote with our wallet, as they say. So it's kind of like, if we want to see certain films, more films like this, we got to go to the movies and see it.
That's true.
But yeah. All in all, I think the voice acting was cool. The action was cool. I just think the story was meh.
Yeah. I think when I looked at it, because in the theater I enjoyed it, but as you tend to point out, there were some, I don't even know if I would say plot holes, but there were certain definitely decisions by certain characters, okay, why would they do this, or why wouldn't they simply do this, that, and it kind of, and things like that, where it's certain character decisions that I'm like, that was really dumb, or that was really, the obvious thing would have been to just do this, and that can kind of take me out the story.
Yeah.
Because I can kind of suspend my disbelief a lot, but then when it's clear decisions that were made just for the sake of the plot extending, or this character doing this particular thing, then it's man, it's not the worst, it's not the most egregious thing, but then there are certain parts where I'm like, okay, I need to go back and rewatch that just to make sure that I didn't miss something, because I was like, y'all could have, why didn't y'all just do this? But but I also will say it could point to the fact that even in wars and conflicts, people don't always make the best decision. People make decisions based off of emotion, just how they're feeling in the moment. So people aren't necessarily always going to make the wisest decisions, especially in the heat of battle.
Right.
So, I mean, I can also look at it from that standpoint. But when you're looking at it from movie logic, it's okay, y'all could have just did this could we all just had to sit down, and y'all could have it was very much.
I don't want to rip this apart
and
act like this was a terrible movie, but yeah, I really wish it was a little bit better. But yeah, I think you should go see it. Anybody who likes Lord of the Rings or fantasy, I think you would definitely enjoy this. This is definitely still just something anybody can watch. You don't have to have watched the Lord of the Rings. You don't have to watch any of the Lord of the Rings to watch this and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's true. You don't. There were certain nods to, things that happened in Lord of the Rings. There were certain references that I feel like anybody who saw Lord of the Rings, you may pick up on certain things. I think we even mentioned during the movie, like, there were certain parts, ironically, that reminded me of Game of Thrones in terms of the conflict, but also just how the characters were speaking. I was like, this feels very much like a Game of Thrones type of setup, but it is ironic because I think Game of Thrones was largely influenced by Lord of the Rings, and now it's like almost the opposite in a way. Like, yeah. I could very easily see when they were writing this movie that they were thinking about Game of Thrones, especially because of how the conflict ends up being, with basically the two sides, like the two families, and then other people joining, and it felt very similar in that sense.
Yeah.
So.
But anyways, that is what you think. What do you rate it?
I was also I'm somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5.
Yeah.
First I had 3.5, and then I went down to 3. I may go back up. It's somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, this will be the last one. So post your comments down below. Let us know when you see this. Also, we hope everybody has a good Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
We're going to try to see Mufasa. We're going to try to see Sonic.
Yeah.
We're going to try... I want to see Nosferatu.
I do want to see that.
So there's still some movies that are in this last year that I want to see.
Yeah.
And anything else. And we'll just try to do a better job at trying to schedule and making these videos come out more frequently. But, yeah. But thank y'all for this year. This year was pretty incredible. Yeah, there was some misses that we had, but, at the end of the day, I'm glad we're back.
Yep.
Thank you to the professor for helping us, now that Mr. Bibbs is not here for right now. But anyways, we're going to see you next year. I hope y'all have a good new year. And we'll see you in 2025, which God has told me is the year of new beginnings. So I hope that means something to y'all, and also, in your lives as far as ours as well. So
just want to say thank you, DJ, for bringing me on board.
Definitely.
I know I was, I did a couple videos, years past. But, But yeah, it's been fun.
We're gonna bring some more of the people in the past back. But we'll just have to see.
We'll see who pops up.
Yeah.
We'll see who pops
but
up.
You're gonna have to subscribe, like,
comment, share,
and hit the notification bell. All that good stuff. To see what happens next in 2025. So, anyways, peace and love. See ya.
See y'all at the movies.